Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Whoa, Shinron, that's my job.
Actually, this week, it's my job. We're here to talk about Dragon Ball Z Superhero.
Bourbon Player 1 starts right now.
Oh, what a stick! Oh my.
Welcome, everybody. We are Bourbon Player 1. My name is Jonathan, and we are joined this week by a very special guest, my wife. This is Kaylee. You can follow her on twitch.tv/Kaedalgo for all your gaming needs. I know they're playing Harry Potter right now. Thanks for coming, Kay.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's almost like we're in the same house. That being said, this week we are talking, as she said, Dragon Ball Z Superhero. If you haven't watched it yet, you should probably turn this off because we're definitely going to spoil the plot. We're definitely going to talk about the entire movie. We're going to break down some bite-sized sections for you, so that way, if you haven't seen it, you can know what happens, and if you have, you can follow along. How's that sound?
I'm just here for the party.
Just here for the party. That's great. What are you drinking, Kay?
I don't know, whatever you poured me.
So we're drinking some really simple night. We are drinking some Buffalo Trace products of Colonel EH small batch. So cheers. And as always, if you don't yet, button pops up right here, right over Kaylee. Subscribe. Click the bell. It's the best way to support the stream. Why wouldn't you? It's absolutely free. New videos absolutely every Monday, talking about things you want to talk about. So if there's something you want to know more about, or just want to see my face or Kay's face more, you can say that too, but post it in the comments below. That being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into Dragon Ball Z Superhero.
Now, let the fight begin!
I was thinking maybe we could perk up my bun.
So, first things first, the opening. So, the whole premise of the movie, again, spoilers here, we're looking at the Red Ribbon Army. And I'm going to dive all into the Red Ribbon Army and kind of what they're talking about in this movie and setting up the movie. But before I do all that, Kay, you watched Dragon Ball Z Super. You didn't watch any other Dragon Ball Z products, right?
No.
Okay. So, this is going to be fun. So, did you know who the Red Ribbon Army was before Dragon Ball Z Super?
No, when I saw the little beer emblem, which looks like a beer logo,
Okay.
Red Ribbon, I thought it was Team Rocket.
It's a different franchise. There's no Pokemon here.
Oh my god, it's a Pokemon!
No Pokemon. So, okay, great. Well, for those who do know who the Red Ribbon Army is, you may have seen it in the original Dragon Ball franchise. You definitely saw it in the Dragon Ball Z series, dealing with Dr. Gero and the androids. And that's kind of where this picks up, talking all about Dr. Gero, scientists, brilliancy of making androids, and the world domination, specifically around the Cell saga. So that's what the whole movie's premise is about. We're introduced in the very beginning of the movie to Dr. Gero's grandson, who, like Dr. Gero, is a genius, and of course is up to no good.
He's not up to no good. He just wants money. He's a 13-year-old boy needing money to do the things that he is capable of doing. He got his doctorate when he was 13.
Where is he when we find him in the movie, Kay?
In jail.
He's in jail. Why is he in jail?
Because he made zombies work at a gas station so he could fund his research.
Okay.
He's thinking capitalist, okay? He didn't want to do anything super illegal, and even the Red Ribbon leader guy, what's his name? I only remember Carmen. What's his name?
Which one? There are many characters.
The leader of the Red Ribbon.
Magenta?
Magenta. So Magenta's like, you would have done better just to rob the place. But this is a kid who's trying to do the right thing, sort of, by putting employees in the employment market to gain a paycheck.
They're dead.
He's...
So the scene that she's talking about is he has made 3 reanimated corpses. He stole them from a morgue, and they are working at a gas station to earn money. And that's his big master plan.
They were doing great, okay?
Doing great
Employees
work
of the month.
They
All 3 of them together.
Definitely were employees. That is for sure. So that's the introduction to the show. Really quick, Kay. favorite part of the opening and kind of like the introduction from someone on the outside. Do you feel like you did a good job? Any funny moments?
So I'm a huge Guy Ritchie fan.
Okay.
Super huge fan of Guy Ritchie and anything he has made, including the live action Aladdin. The way this movie started out and the way the characters were introduced let me know who they were, and it did it in such a nice way that it was like comical. So like, here's this person, here's their name in the banner behind, like Carmine, and then a little bit of introduction of what they were and who they are and how they pertain to the story. So to me, coming in as an idiot who thinks Team Rocket is a part of Dragon Ball, this engaged me immediately, and especially how it was drawn. Like the cartoon of it was very, very pretty. Like I did play Dragon Ball, the Xbox game, a million years ago.
Okay.
And it looks like that. It reminds me of that a lot.
Gosh. Again, a great movie that was animated by Akira Toriyama, who is famous for doing the original Dragon Ball Z series and Dragon Ball. Came back just to create this movie. So definitely animation style feels very familiar to anyone who's seen the original series.
Oh,
So
that doesn't look like the original series.
he's grown. He's learned.
It's not grainy.
Well, technology's come a long ways in the years. All right, so really big thing about Dragon Ball Superhero. Goku, Vegeta, Broly, not really in the movie. I mean, they show up. They're training with Whis on Beerus's planet. They show up and they're having a big fight. But really, the extent of them in Dragon Ball Z Super is 5 minutes, basically. Would you agree, Kay?
I would like to say that it's not a fight. They're training.
But they're fighting in the training.
But it's not like it. There's not a whole lot of scenes of them fighting because it's Beerus going to get ice cream.
It is.
And now he has a love interest.
I will say it's very big takeaway. Beerus definitely has a type that he likes to go after. That's all we'll say about it. But he has a type.
Well,
I'm going to call it aliens who are different colors.
I wouldn't go for colors. I would go for the age difference.
Listen, I don't...
She looked like she was not of age. And I don't know if her race ages slowly, so she could be 1,000 years old.
We don't know. But Beerus definitely has a type. They make it very clear in the movie that is his type.
They even talk about it.
They even talk about it. So, there you go. Now you know if ever you're wondering the kind of alien strange that Beerus is into. There you go. There it is.
Strange. Okay.
Whis training Vegeta and Goku, and they're going to have a sparring match. Originally, it's a 3-person sparring match until Goku and Vegeta determined that Broly probably shouldn't fight them because he might lose control and destroy everybody.
Because he gets too into it and wants to kill them.
Because he is the legendary Super Saiyan, and when he transforms into Super Saiyan, he loses control of who he is.
Oh.
So he could destroy everyone because he loses control.
I thought he was just a dumb brute.
No. Well, I mean...
He wears a loincloth.
You're not far off, yes.
Is he related to them?
He's a Saiyan, so I mean, they've all come from the same bloodline.
Did they
All the
just
same
find
planet.
him? Didn't they all die?
No, they didn't all die. They some escaped.
This moron escaped.
He escaped. Anyway, moving right on. So that's where we're gonna cut it for them. Again, they're having their fight. That's really all we see of them, and we see Beerus and Whis and all them eating ice cream. The end.
Hilarious.
Back to Earth we go, and we are talking about Piccolo. So cut right back to Piccolo, or as the androids we're about to come to know him as, King Piccolo. Who he's not King Piccolo anymore. He is no longer the protector of Earth. We now have Dende for that, who we meet briefly. But we're also introduced to an android who we just come to know as number 2 at this point in time. He has a big number 2 on his chest. And he is from the Red Ribbon Army, and he is there to originally just fight Piccolo, but then decides he just needs to go ahead and eliminate Piccolo and kill him. So that's where it leaves us with him. They get into a big fight. Gamma 2 shoots Piccolo, thinks he's dead, and leaves.
Pause. During this fight, that number 2 blows up the vicinity with Piccolo trying to figure out who he is and what his accomplishments are. During his internal monologue, he's like, why do I keep seeing his hits? Mm-hmm. So, like, I guess in the game? Or is it that was that in a show?
So, I'll explain. So, think about it in a video game where you punch somebody, or like in the original Batman, where like they would make sound effects like ka-chow or pow, and you'd see like a big thing behind them say like pow or slap. that's happening, and we're used to that in anime, but breaking the fourth wall a little bit, Piccolo goes, why can I keep seeing the sound effects of him hitting me? So, definitely, a little inside humor for us
And
as
then we
viewers.
find out why.
Oh, we do?
You didn't catch that?
Go for it.
So the little tiny 13-year-old doctor put that in their system so that it would project, so that it actually is a projection of what the noises they want to make. And he was messing with it in the evil lair, or they think the hero's lair. Mm-hmm. And he's like messing with it, and it's like cutting in and out as a graphic.
I think it's important to add here too, in case we don't get to it later, that ultimately, and we'll talk more about Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, and the whole Doctor side, other than the Red Ribbon Army. So Dr. Hito, the kid, and Gammas all think they're the good guys here. They've been lied to by the Red Ribbon Army, which we learned earlier. The Red Ribbon lied to them, but they don't think they're doing anything bad. So it's important to make that distinction that they think they're defending Earth right now from the bad guys. So that's why they're doing all the things that they're doing. Teleport back to the lair. Piccolo's not dead. Piccolo's not dead.
It's certainly not dead.
He's not. He assaults a security guard at the new Red Ribbon Army lair, and he follows Gamma 2 into the lair in a disguise and listens to a large conversation about what's going to happen.
Easily, and everybody's friends. It is the best place to work, apparently, because Gamma 2 walks in and they're like, hey, bro, how's it going? And he's like, hey, you working hard? I want to work there.
Apparently.
And he just strolls on in a different outfit and then gets in line into the evil lair where there's a bunch of security guards up, and he just lines up.
It's great stuff. A lot of comedy gold happening right here in this episode. A lot of comedy gold in this sequence entirely. We find out that there is a new cell that's been made, but he is not released yet because Cell Max, duly named, cannot be controlled yet. He is not ready. So, spoiler alert, what do you think the movie's going to end with? Here we go, though. So Cell Max is contained. We just have Gamma 1 and 2. And Piccolo has to leave because ultimately he has to go pick up Pan, which is the daughter of Gohan and of Videl. So, anything you'd like to add right there, Kay?
She's so adorable.
She is adorable.
She's 3 years old, and she's trying to fly, and she's like getting trained by Piccolo and doing all the things, and he's like proud dad, even though he's not the dad. And he's training her, and then at some, I don't understand because I just think he's a green alien. They're asking him to pick up Pan from, it's Pan, P-A-N?
Pan.
Pan. They're asking Piccolo to pick up Pan from school, and he takes time from his training meditation to go yell at Gohan to ask why he's not doing it, and Gohan is studying bugs, and Piccolo's pissed off about him studying bugs that he throws a weight training shoulder cape thing on him while he trains, and Gohan just totally normal. That's fine. I wonder what he's being all weird about. And he's gonna go pick up his daughter, and so then Piccolo, in my mind, it's strange that he goes along with this plan to go pick her up as the bad guy with another bad guy, and he goes to pick her up.
Well, we haven't talked about that yet.
I'm sorry, I'm not there yet.
That's okay.
But
so
Piccolo and Pan have this adorable relationship.
They do. And the Red Ribbon Army, to close out that scene, is their big plan to get Gohan and to try to eliminate him from their problem of being one of the bad guys, because they're picking off the bad guys in their world, is to go kidnap Pan, and that will lure Gohan out so they can fight him and ultimately get rid of him. So, of course, since Piccolo's their spying, he volunteers to go, since he knows the area so well. He's knows Gohan's house very well, so he can go help.
He said, I live right next to them. I live next to her. I know what she looks like. You're like, oh, that's strange. That's weird. But you're 94, and we don't take 94. Like, you're too high of a number. Right. We can't take you. And then the boss man, Gento,
he's like, oh, that might be helpful. Yeah,
that'll be helpful. Take him.
Yeah. So
anyway, and then it's two guys.
Two guys go. Piccolo and some other random guy. And they're going to kidnap Pan from her school, which is funny because Piccolo was supposed to go pick up Pan from school anyway.
He still does his job.
Still does his job. He's still doing it. So the two of them go. The non-Piccolo guy goes to pick up Pan from school saying that his father had sent him there.
He is so increased John size. He looks like John. He's big, he's blonde, he's buff, he's scary looking, he's like 7 feet tall, and Pam's a 3-year-old little old girl. And she kicks the shit out of him.
She does. So he tries to grab her, and she is not having any part of it, and she just ends him real quickly right in front of the teacher and Piccolo, who, after she ends him, Piccolo then reveals himself to be Piccolo. She knows who he is.
But he didn't reveal. He walked up, and she goes, "Oh, hi, Piccolo."
Yeah.
And he's all masked up and has a helmet on. And he's like, "Oh, you recognize me?" And she's like, "Yeah, I know your
aura.
Your aura,
Yeah, she
anywhere."
can sense it. So all that happens.
Proud dad moment.
They decide to play along. So Piccolo puts her in handcuffs, lets her know, hey, you can break out of these anytime you want to. Don't be scared. And they go into the ship to go back to the Red Ribbon Fort, so Piccolo can figure out their plan.
This guy's passed out because Pan kicked his ass so hard. He's passed out for a while before they even, like, they're halfway to get back to the lair. And Piccolo tells Pan everything and says, here's the handcuffs. You can break out of these anytime, but I need you to play scared so your dad will come out. And she's like, okay. So then she plays it up. She gets attached to a bar. And she's like, oh, I'm so scared. And the guy wakes up and he's like, how you tell no one about this? No one will know. And Piccolo's like driving like this. I also appreciate how he holds his phone, which I'm going to do for the rest of forever. This is how he holds the phone up.
It's kind of weird,
this.
yeah.
I love it. I'm going to do this now. That's it.
I think it's important to add, too, that Piccolo's plan and why he wants Pan to go ahead and get kidnapped isn't because he's worried about the Red Ribbon Army's plan. It's because he wants to draw out Gohan's power again, because he thinks Gohan has gotten soft. And he thinks that if he sees Pan in trouble, then Gohan won't be soft anymore and he'll be able to fight.
And he'll train.
He'll train. He'll come back to training. That's the whole plan. So forget world domination. The planet getting destroyed. Yeah. Gohan needs to get back to training right away.
Which he had answered that for me as I'm like, why didn't he just stop this? Why didn't he just take care of it himself? And he was just like, no, I'm just gonna do what I'm doing right now. Play along.
Yep. Cool. Let's move right along. All right. So I guess you could say Gohan got a little perturbed that they kidnapped his daughter when he found out. So Piccolo's right. I mean, all things considered, Piccolo's plan, while it sounds stupid, it worked. I mean, Gohan's angry. He got real big mad. So Gohan shows up at the base and proceeds to supercharge up and power up and beat people up.
The same two guys, Piccolo and big blonde guy, went to his office, and the guy went to the front door, and he's like, no, he won't answer that. And he's like, you really know your way around this place. Like red flags everywhere that Piccolo is an imposter, and he just kept moving on. So he goes to the door, which I hate this thing he does. He goes to the window and he goes, like nails on a chalkboard. And Gohan's like, oh, it's Piccolo.
He knows. He's like, oh, only Piccolo does that to me.
So this guy is like super big and tough and scary, and he holds a gun out, and Gohan just goes, boink. Boink the gun away until they were like, oh, we have your daughter. And then he showed up a video of Pan being scared for clout and doing what she was told to do by Piccolo. And then he steps out the window and just sinks the ground in anger, like going up, I don't know how many times.
Really angry, yeah.
Did he go up to the 4th?
He was getting super powered right there.
Super powered.
Not ultimate final form. We'll see that in a bit, but he's very angry.
Very angry, and he doesn't do 3. I think he does 4.
It's not 4. 4 is not that. You're wrong.
But 3 is like they're not.
He powers up to Super Saiyan.
Whatever. Anyway, so the ground drops 3 times, I guess, and then his office building starts to like kind of cave in because he's just mad, and then he goes flying to the base. And
then we come to the Red Ribbon base. So this is where Gohan is at. He confronts Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Gamma? Doesn't matter. Gamma.
They say Gamma.
Gamma? Okay. Gamma 1 and 2. The 2 androids who think they're doing the right thing with our doctor, but they are, of course, wrong. Piccolo is already here with Pan. He is watching over her while Gohan is fighting everybody, trying not to reveal himself. One thing leads to another. Long fight ensues, just like Dragon Ball Z does, with people fighting, long, drawn-out fights, until ultimately it's determined that Piccolo is going to have to use all of his power. Now, rewind just a smidge. because I want to talk about how Piccolo unlocked his power in this movie. And I would love for Kaylee. Kay, please tell us how Piccolo unlocked his true power in the movie.
Okay, so after he goes to the Red Ribbon Army and he sees what he can see, all this happens within a span of hours, and they say this in the movie. It's not days, it's not 3 episodes in. It happens very quickly. So this guy goes to a place where there is a talking white cat and some Neanderthal. I don't know who they are.
It's okay, you're doing great.
But I don't even know what they give him. I don't understand what happened there. But then he goes to the roof and finds his king.
He finds Dende, who is looks over all of Earth. Mm-hmm.
Who is the antenna looking thingy. Anyway, so Dende says, why don't you just, power up? And he's like, why don't you power me up with the, whatever that toad looking thing. So his race in a very ancient...
Namekian.
So Namekian, they are these toad-looking things, and there was this fat thing sitting on a throne, and it touched, was it Trunks and the other kid?
Krillin and Gohan.
He touched them and powered them up really quickly, and he's like, do that to me, because you're the king. And he's like, that only happens at a certain age. And so then Piccolo's really sad, and then the thing that is now king said, why don't you just ask the Dragon Balls? And so then Vegeta's wife, whose name is Bulma, got it, nail it. Bulma, who has been using her finances to collect all of these Dragon Balls with all of her power, and apparently she's been collecting them using a wish and then dispersing them and going back and collecting them and just keep wishing.
What's she wishing for, Kay?
I forgot one thing, is that the Dragon Balls no longer do one wish because he got an upgrade.
They do 3 wishes.
They do 3 wishes now.
Right.
What's his name? Sharagon?
Who?
The dragon, what's his name?
It is not Sharagon.
It's a Jungle Book reference, I guess.
Shinron.
I was close.
You were.
So Shinron is in a glass case that this Piccolo mini king dude has, who's looking over Earth. What's his name? Dende. Dende has Shinron in a glass case, and he pours what I'm assuming is holy water on top of it to upgrade him. And the upgrade is, instead of 1 wish, it is now 3 wishes. So Dende asked Piccolo, why don't you just ask Shinron to just disperse of the Red Army? And I'm like, there's the movie. That's it. That's a great finish. And Piccolo doesn't do it because apparently he has pride. He has green antenna pride.
He does. He's a warrior. You can't just do that.
He's not even doing it. He's making other people do it. Anyway.
So fast forward.
So
Bulma has the Dragon Balls already collected.
Okay, fine. So Piccolo is going to ask for Shinron to give him the power that this ancient old green Piccolo look-alike king could best upon people, whatever that was. So he's going to ask Shinron to upgrade him. And when Shinron appears, because Bulma has the Dragon Balls, she has them all currently right now, and Piccolo does this really awesome run, still on the phone, jumps off, and then grabs his helmet and puts it on, and then takes off to go to find Bulma, which I found was really cool animation. The whole thing right there was just my favorite. So he goes to find Bulma, and Bulma says, here's the Dragon Balls, and Piccolo puts them together, summons Shinron, and Shinron's like, IMO, it's you.
He was definitely not as excited to see Piccolo, of all people. He's like, oh, it's Piccolo.
Why does he hate Piccolo?
I don't know.
He's super unexcited
just
about
not
it.
excited to see Piccolo.
That cracked me up. And so he makes 1 wish, and he wanted to upgrade, and so Shinron did it, and he's like, oh, Piccolo's all this power and stuff. And then Bulma, who has been collecting these Dragon Balls with technology and use of all of her finances, that she's going out and collecting these things, and she's been making wishes, and those wishes are cosmetic upgrades because she's aging.
Yep. Needs a tighter booty. Tighter booty. Get rid of some wrinkles on the face.
Get some wrinkles and a little bit more eyelashes.
Yep. Wants to be looking good, looking tight.
And she was so proud about it. And then after the fact that she was like, I want a little bit more of this. And she's looking in a mirror. And Piccolo's like, this is what you've wasted. You like, this is the wishes you make. And she's like, stop touching me.
My favorite thing I think he says is, you're wasting a cosmic powers wish. You could just do squats for a couple months. Like,
do squats for a couple months and then you have your booty.
Leave it to Piccolo.
Leave it to
common sense. Little fitness action for you. Just do some squats.
So Bulma's been doing all these wonderful cosmetic upgrades, which in as a female, she's married to Vegeta, who is never going to age. He is eternal. So I kind of get where she's coming from, that she loves him and she wants to stay, good looking and tight for him. So what better way to do that?
The thing that kills me is Shenron has the power to grant eternal life. He can do that. Like, we've learned that in the past. So
one step at a time.
Why are we not just jumping right to that?
One step at a time.
I don't know.
Well, because they also didn't make the wishes that they should have, because they're trying to get a hold of Vegeta and Goku, who are off fighting on planet Beerus. And Piccolo's like, why didn't you use one of your wishes to teleport them here? Or she said that.
Because that would have made a very entertaining movie, now would it, if they showed up?
It would have been just done.
The fight would have been over.
But they do talk about it. They do ask, why didn't you just do that?
I think they talk about a lot of common sense things in the movie, which I really appreciate, because you're sitting at home thinking it, and then they just say it like, oh, yeah, why didn't we do that? That's a good idea. And you're like, I thought it too. So, like, thanks for calling it out. Anyway, fast forward back to the fight. Piccolo's power is unlocked, and we have a brand new Piccolo form. Super fantastic name for it. Super fancy, just like Super Saiyan. Let's just call it Orange Piccolo. And why do they call it Orange Piccolo, Kay?
Because he's orange.
Because he's not green, he's orange now.
He turned orange.
He turns orange. So Orange Piccolo, and we're going to call him Ultra Instinct Gohan. I don't think he's truly Ultra Instinct there, but he looks like his dad in Ultra Instinct. So we'll just take a stab at it. They're all super powered up, and they fight the two Gammas, who they win against, but only because the Gammas see that the Red Ribbon Army is trying to shoot Pan, and they're not bad guys. They're been trained not to be bad guys.
Well, they were asking questions ahead of time. They're like, why would you kidnap a little girl? That's not a good guy thing to do.
Yeah, like, we're good guys. Why would you do that? So a lot of breadcrumbs there. They eventually stop fighting and say, we're not going to do this anymore. And so off runs Magenta, the leader of the Red Ribbon Army, to, of course, as we all knew was coming at the beginning of the movie, activate Cell Max. So, Magenta runs off to activate Cell Max. He is chased by our young friend, Dr. Hito. He's trying to stop him from activating Cell Max, because he knows Cell Max can be controlled, and Cell Max will destroy everybody. Like, no controlling him. He's going to destroy everybody. But of course, Magenta does not care. A fight ensues. We learn that Magenta also has some upgrades to his body, just like our doctor. So they fight.
That was like scene one.
Yeah.
They're in the car talking about it.
But so their fight, but the fight actually doesn't go very far, because the doctor, Hito, has a bee that can...
Oh, wait, you missed the biggest shock moment.
Oh, okay. So go for it.
So, this is a kid's movie.
It is a kid's movie. It's PG-13.
Apparently it's not. Because Magenta, during this fight with Tito, who now turns is like, oh, you're the bad guy and I'm going to be the hero and you're not going to let Cell Max out. Like, I will destroy him, all those things that a hero will do. And Magenta pulls out a gun and just shoots him dead.
Then shoots him a couple more times.
And shoots him 3 or 4 more times on the ground.
It's not just like a one, like, okay, I put you down. It's like one and like double tapping it.
And it's not super dramatic. It's pew. And the scene is just Hindo on the ground. This kid is on the ground, face down, and Magenta is just pew, 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 pew. And I'm like laying on the couch and Jonathan's on the other couch, and I just sit up and look at him and I'm like, this is a kid's movie.
He just murdered him.
Murdered him, and it was terrifying. And then it took a little bit to where I was like, wait, he said I have impervious skin because I did things to my body scientifically to make it
he has also experimented on himself. He can't be killed easily.
He can have huge impact happen. But he had made a very high-tech robot bee when he was in prison, and that comes to his rescue.
It does. So the Robot Beast shows up when the Magenta and the Doctor are just about to fight. Stings Magenta in the neck, which it doesn't kill him automatically, but it starts killing him. So he just starts running around all crazy.
Starting turning green.
Instead of finishing it, Hito, I was going to call him Hito instead of Doctor all the time, but Hito starts gloating and talking about how he is a superhero now. And of course, Magenta then just runs over to the console and activates Cell Max, because what else are you going to do when you're dying than just go activate?
And he's dead.
And then he dies.
Which I forgot to mention. When Hito gets back up from being impervious to bullets, it was such a great scene for him to come back, because he does the Naruto run behind him and he goes, whew, shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo, behind him, and I was like, he's alive.
He is alive. So, Cell Max emerges. He is ginormous.
Freaking terrifying.
He's huge. He's big. He's red.
Scary. The shit of nightmares.
Just so we're all on the same page, for those who've watched Dragon Ball Z before, Cell Max looks like Cell, not in his perfect form, but in his semi-perfect form. So Form 2 is how he built him. If you don't care, that's fine. But it's Form 2, only red, and only probably like 10 times the size. I mean, he's monstrously huge. He's a big creature. So they're fighting outside. Joined outside, Bulma shows up with Goten, Trunks, also, Android 18, Curlin.
Cell can't talk. This thing cannot talk.
Yeah, it can't talk. It's not smart like original Cell, so it's crazy. It's just a beast. Anyway, Bulma arrives with Goten, Trunks, Android 18, and Curlin. Gohan, Piccolo, and the Gammas, who are on their side, the two androids, fly off to fight Cell Max. Goten and Trunks get a great idea in the middle of the fight that they are going to fuse, even though they haven't done it in, I'll assume, 10 years.
They're teenagers now.
They're teenagers now. They were little tiny kids last time they did it. And let's just say the fusion technique, maybe it's been a minute they should have practiced. Maybe they should practice before they got here.
So I've seen this in memes. I've seen the technique that they do, and during them starting the process of getting ready to fuse, all the scene is this Piccolo's face and his side eye. And he is so mad at them for even trying it.
Yeah, it doesn't go well. They turn into Gotenks. They do turn into Gotenks. Gotenks is definitely a little bit larger in size and doesn't have any powers. He tries to turn Super Saiyan. He can't. He can't really fly that well. Can't really move very well. So
he's a fat little middle-aged tea store owner.
Doesn't go good. But the good news is, because of his size, the other fighters are able to throw him into Cell Max's head.
Not just throw him; they bounce him.
They bounce him
like a pinball machine, bouncing him up and away.
So he hits Cell Max's head, where we learn is Cell Max's weak spot that the Dr. Hito had built just in case Cell Max got carried away. He needed a weak spot so they could kill him. So he hits him in the head and it cracks. So Cell Max can be defeated, but it's going to take a lot more blows to defeat Cell Max than just the one.
And then Piccolo's consistent side eye of displeasure and what do you call that? Disappointment.
Disappointed dad.
He was
disappointed Piccolo dad.
Disappointed sure. Piccolo dad for all that. He was like, "Oh, it's not completely useless."
Fast forward ahead, Gamma 2 decides, you know what's a really good idea? I'm going to use all my energy I have left, and I'm just going to attack Cell Max straight on, and I'm going to try to take him down and save everyone else's life. It doesn't really go super well. He did miss, because Cell was able to get his arm up to block him, but it does destroy Cell Max's left arm. So his arm is gone.
Down to his foot is like caving away.
Piccolo throws his last Senzu Bean at Gohan and says, "Eat this. I'm going to turn super huge now."
After dropping the first one.
He did drop the first one, yeah. They had two. Gohan dropped the first one, so Piccolo gave him his. Said, "I'm going to turn super huge. Thanks for reminding me, Curlin, that I can turn super huge." Really, really nice moment.
We're kind of jumping, but Piccolo's huge already and has to dig out the bean out of his pants.
It's a little tiny bean.
And he hands it to Gohan.
But from back in the original Dragon Ball days, Piccolo can turn big. It's one of his powers. Doesn't get him stronger, it just makes him look bigger. And Curlin has to remind him. So Piccolo restrains Cell Max. Gohan, after eating the little tiny bean, his inner rage manifests and he turns into a new form. I think it looks like Ultra Instinct, but the internet is calling it Beast Gohan. And in a huge surprise, Gohan powers up and fires a special beam cannon, which is Piccolo's special ability, not Gohan's. Gohan's ability is, of course, the Masenko, or also Kamehameha for his father.
Which they asked for.
Yeah, it's what he asked for, but he says, "Nah, I'm just gonna steal your move, Piccolo, no problem." And he blasts Cellmax right through the head, blows a big hole in him. You see the special beam cannon in space; it's huge. And the end. Cellmax is gone. He goes into dust. See you later.
I didn't know that was a thing for Piccolo and not the Saiyans.
Yeah, that's his move. Piccolo's move. Oh
How
wow.
insulting.
I know. He's like, thanks for holding him. I'm gonna kill him with your move. Sorry, you're not strong enough. Peace. Gohan is reunited with Pan.
Oh, at some point during the fight before Cell comes out, you didn't talk about Piccolo torturing Pan to get him to Super Saiyan up to get more mad during that fight.
He did like pick her up and like shake her around to make her yell.
Well,
so Gohan
he's
would get
holding
angry.
her and like pretending to choke her out, so it's kind of like this, and she's like, "Oh no, help me!" And so Gohan's like, "What? How dare you?" And then Piccolo's like, "Oh."
We'll come back to that in a second.
Sorry.
It's okay. In conclusion, for the whole movie, Gohan's reunited with Pan. Hito and Gamma 1, since Gamma 2 is now dead, are given positions at Capsule Corporation. And that is the end of the movie. Everyone flies off. Pan can fly now. Everyone's super happy. The end. Hopefully we have more Dragon Ball in the future. I want to take it to you, Kaylee, for highlights, your favorite parts of the show that maybe we didn't talk about, or just things that you remember that were fun.
Well, the Piccolo instigating things within control, within a I would call it sandbox. So if you are in computer typing or any kind of like computer software or in Kryptonite, you have sandbox. So Piccolo does all of this stuff within his sandbox of things. And he goes in to go get more information, which I really appreciate. Is he doesn't understand who Gamma 2 is when he first comes attacks him. And instead of like finishing the fight and just being all powerful, he wants to know who he is, what he is, and why he called him King Piccolo. And so he goes and follows him to go find out for more information, which I thought was really cool. I don't know who any of these characters are, but I know who Beerus was from just because he was a purple kitty and he was a god and there was some tournament on a platform. That's all I know.
Dragon Ball Super storyline. Yep.
Sure.
Great.
That. And seeing him was like, yay, I'm in again. And then having all these other characters. So Piccolo to me was always this weak character that you didn't pick in the video games. And so having him just be like this super dad was super cute. But you're saying that he was in charge of Earth? Of all
At
of
one
Earth?
point in time.
At one point in time he was in charge of all of Earth. So like that daddy thing that he does, he is now just doing it to this small group of people, which is super cute. So Piccolo, getting to know him was kind of adorable. I really appreciated seeing the teenagers, the little boys, Trunks and Goten. They are now teenagers and they're like cute, but like, we're teenagers now. Oh, we're just here to party. This is what we're doing. This sounds like fun. Let's go help. That was super cute. We didn't get to see much of the Krillin and his android wife. They were just they were there, but they didn't really have a big participation in it. Pan is super adorable. She's so cute. But watching all that. But I will say that Cellmax is the shit of nightmares. He is terrifying. When he comes out, he just roars. And the way he comes out is like, that was kind of like, oh, what is this? And then it just got worse from there. Like, he is absolutely terrifying. But what then, Jonathan explained to me later is that if Vegeta and Goku were there, they would just snuff him out really quick. So it was good. I enjoyed it for someone who's not a Dragon Ball Z, except for this T-shirt that was bought for me.
Would you, as someone who doesn't know a lot about Dragon Ball Z, recommend it to somebody else to watch it?
Yeah, absolutely. I would recommend. This is a great show to watch with context. Watch Bourbon Player 1, get all the spoilers, and then watch it for yourself and be like, oh.
That's what they were talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
My final few thoughts that I want to add in here before we part ways. First things first, she showed up at the end, but why doesn't Android 18 have a name yet? I mean, she's been living on Earth for a lot of years. Why are we still calling her Android 18? She has a kid with Curlin. Can we get her a name and just stop calling her Android 18? That's a little insulting, right? Just throw that out there. Vegeta and Goku and Brawly, typical fashion, they don't give no craps what's going on Earth other than their own agenda. So the whole place could be on fire and they just don't care. Normal, typical for them.
Well, they didn't know.
Doesn't matter. They don't care. They could sense that power from all the way over there. Who knows? Whatever.
Right.
It was, like you said, really nice learning all about Piccolo. This really focused on Piccolo for the majority of the storyline. Piccolo, his, I'll call it love for Pan and training her just like he trained Gohan back in the day. Really a nice parallel as a Dragon Ball Z fan and kind of how that played out. So, a lot of fun there. Ultimately, great storyline. It was very well written. The animation's great. 99 minutes. So, we're just at a little over an hour and a half long movie. Perfect timing, I think, for a movie like this. Because at no point did I think, oh, is this almost over? I mean, it ended and I was like, oh, that's really good timing. I feel like that was a good pacing. We got through everything. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get bored with it. So, definitely recommend. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, I'd say this is a must-watch. I mean, you should watch it if you like Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super. You have to watch it. If you're not, like Kay said, I mean, still pick it up, watch it, listen to this, and then you can piece together what we're talking about, and maybe it'll turn you on to Dragon Ball Super. It's free right now on Crunchyroll. If you have a Crunchyroll subscription, you can watch this for free. If you don't, it's also available for rent on Amazon Prime for $2.99. So really, you spend $3 and probably a lot more in your life than this. So you can rent this. It's worth it. It's like a Netflix rent. So Netflix when it was DVDs. Wow, I'm aging myself a little bit. Kay, final thoughts?
I thought it was really good, but I do think there was a tiny bit of whenever we watched Dragon Ball Super. Mm-hmm. If you were to watch that beforehand, a lot of these characters would make more sense more quickly. But if you were to watch it unknowing of the Dragon Ball Z universe, watch it with somebody who knows the universe, and then they can clue you in very quickly on who that person is, who this person is, and what they do. But I think the show does a very good job of recapping who people are and why they're relevant. Like,
I mean,
Android
it told you who Pan was. Like, this is the daughter of Gohan and Videl. Like, it introduced everybody for you, so you didn't have to wonder. And if you don't know who Gohan and Videl are, you're like, oh well, this is Pan. That's their daughter.
I forgot about that because then Piccolo's like, she called Goku grandpa, and Piccolo's like, grandpa, oh right, Goku's your grandpa,
right?
So they talk actively about who the relation is and why.
Cool.
So I very much enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well guys, that's gonna do it this week for Bourbon Player 1. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you don't already, click that subscribe button. It's right down there. It's free. Click the bell so you get notifications when we have new videos. Again, new videos every single Monday. We need your support and we appreciate it. Kay, thank you so much for joining us this week. I hope you'll come back and do it again.
Maybe.
Leave a comment if you think there's something else you'd like to see Kay butcher that she knows nothing about and talk about, because man, is it fun, right? So leave something below. We appreciate it. Other than that, if you don't already, twitch.tv/Kaedalgo, Kaedalgo. Go follow it, go subscribe and support. Appreciate you yet again. This is Bourbon Player 1, and we will see you next week. Bye.